Hey guys, and welcome to the video based on phase 2. So the last video was phase 1. If you haven't seen that, I will post it somewhere around here. And check it out first before you go into this one, so you'll understand more why we're doing this sort of training in this phase. So once again, it's just a conversation between me and Mark. I really hope you enjoy it, and if you do, subscribe, hit the like, share it with anyone you think it would help, and hit the wee bell as well so that you're notified for all the upcoming videos. So I hope you have an amazing day, whatever you get up to, and I will speak to you soon. So in this episode, we are going to talk about phase 2. So phase 2 was, how many weeks did I do phase 1? Just a recap.
I think it was 8.
Something like that. It might have actually been longer, was it?
No, I think it was 8.
Well, we'll go with it. How's the tank is the gist of it.
Yeah, 8 weeks to tank, it was called, actually, was the original name.
And because I was so awesome at it, he decided that phase 2, we'd go into phase 2. So what was the point of phase 2? What was the idea of it?
So it was just progressing on from the introductory, the beginner sort of on training phase, where we moved on to what I would call a pure strength routine.
So there you came from?
That's where that came from. That's where we found that. So it was just a, not to go into too much detail, but strength is really more of a component of your central nervous system than anything else. So it was a more, what would you call, lower, the same frequency, so it was 3 days a week. It was slightly lower volume overall, I suppose, because the initial introductory one was a full body training session, whereas this one really was limited in exercises, but they were all big compound movements.
Yeah.
So, we were emphasizing getting strong. So you're not going to get strong on tricep extensions. You're going to focus on squats, deadlifts, benches, things like that. So there's a way that I programmed it for the week, and it was 3 days a week. And the other thing that we added was intense conditioning. Yeah.
The conditioning of it was my favourite and my worst. Would that be
Probably that's a good description,
yeah. So the first thing that we did was, it was squatting, and again, I had never properly squatted. I'd never actually squatted the way that you wanted me to squat.
Aye.
But even the squatting I had been doing in the past was nothing like it, and I had never went with any sort of weight. So building upon that, and then we did, to finish it off, we did 10 minutes of the first day. What was the point of the conditioning, I suppose, would be?
So again, it's all a long-term plan. So because it's a long-term plan, there's no rush. So what I'm doing over these whole things, and you'll see, is dropping things in. I look at them all as wee tools for what the goals are.
Mm.
So with conditioning should be intense. So it's different from like aerobics and things like that, which we'll talk about that as well at later phases, because we brought it in as well, aerobic conditioning.
Mm.
Intense conditioning should be intense, which sounds stupid, but that's the mistake people make, is that they don't actually make it intense enough. So what I do with that is I like to limit it to 10 minutes, because again, a lot of people will go, 10 minutes? 10 minutes? I can do 10 minutes standing on my head, and you can't.
Yeah.
But it should be really super intense. So this was bringing that in to give it that first phase. But the other side of it is again, same as the strength component being primarily central nervous system, the intense conditioning side, it's not like being a marathon runner.
No.
It is super intense, and it's really focused work. So it falls, for me, I think it complements a strength program.
I think that, I know you've said intense a lot, and people watching or listening will be like, why does he keep saying intense? I don't understand intense. You don't. People think intense is like, oh, I did a wee intense finisher. I did 10 arm curls and then 10 tricep extensions, and I did it 4 times. And you're like, so what we did, the first one we did was, and he had the plan of the conditioning, but there was no, in my notes that he had given me, it was just conditioning. 10 minutes, and I did 10 minutes down
10 minutes?
And I lifted my cooch down 10 minutes in my head. And I was like, I can do that. That's easy. And then we decided we would, because again, it was martial arts based. So one of the components was a slam ball. And then it was slam the ball off the wall. And then it was throw the ball up. And then it was the pick up, drop over boil.
Yes.
They probably all have real names, but that's what I called them. And then it was just 1 minute each. Wasn't it 1 minute? There was 1 minute for 10 minutes or something like that, wasn't it? It was basically just 10 minutes.
Yeah. So I made it up on the spot, and that's what I would do with that sort of stuff, because it makes it harder.
I had no prep
You just
time.
you go what? And
Yeah.
I'm making it up as I go, and I go, what am I doing here? And you don't get a chance to prep for it. Again, the emphasis is all on sort of explosive movements, because after range you're so quick. And the idea is this is an important thing to realize, right? In that style of conditioning, you're not trying to save yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If there are people who are watching this who are good runners or swimmers or triathletes or endurance athletes in general, endurance people, one of the things you learn is to be relaxed. You learn to relax and you learn to save energy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't save any energy in this. It should never be easy. It shouldn't. That's the thing that mentally that puts people off it, is it's never easy. It's always hard. It doesn't matter. Like if it starts getting easy and your heart rate's not maxing, you should be maxing your heart rate. That's why it's only 10 minutes. If you're not doing that, then there's no point. You may as well do 30 minutes steady state.
And to me, it would be like whenever I started squatting, say like I started with like 40 kilos or something, wasn't it? Maybe like
I think it was 40. I think
it was 40, and then you say I work up to 60 kilos, and then if I just 60 kilos was hard, but now if I did 60 it would be easy. But if I just had to stay at 60 because it was hard one day and just kept there forever, that's what I noticed when people say conditioning. A lot of the time they go, this is the workout I do for conditioning, it's brutal, you do 15 of these, 5 of them, 6 of them at this weight, and you go, well, does it get any easier? Oh, by the 5th week you can do it no bother.
It's real easy.
And you're like, well,
what's the point?
So the conditioning was brutal, but you were getting more done. Most time you get more done. I'm just thinking halftime I couldn't count, but I said to you, like there's lots of times where you're going.
I was never counting anything.
If we didn't have a timer, I would have known where I was going, and even there was times where I went to lift the wrong ball to do the wrong action. I go, need to go over here and do that. So that the conditioning for me was important. I think it's important for people to understand that whenever you do conditioning training, like it should be
intense.
It's
all based off your heart rate. Again, on a pure strength related program, for me, you can do it and I can program it in, but pure aerobic endurance training doesn't fit as well with a strength program as this type of conditioning works. It enhances the strength work.
Definitely.
It absolutely enhances it.
Whenever you're doing that 10 minute, after about 3 weeks of doing 10 minutes as hard as you can, everything else, it didn't seem easy, but it seems like part of the way I work in my head, and we talked about this in the last video, whenever I did far too many squats by accident. When I know something's really hard, then to me everything else isn't as hard as that. So I'm like, well, at least I'm not doing conditioning. Yeah. This squatting is really difficult. It's not conditioning.
It's not as bad as that.
So I'll just keep doing. So that's the way that I get through it. Every time I do anything, I think that's.
Yeah, you just have to. If it's short, hard stuff, keep it short and hard. That's a bit weird.
Long and hard would be worse. So it's
long
fine.
And soft. So yeah, but there's a place for the endurance stuff as well, and you can program it in. I'm not saying you can't. You absolutely can, but I'm just saying that Liam's initial program was an introductory phase, and then this second one was a strength phase, which is primarily central nervous system based. Obviously there's a muscular component as well, but central nervous system, we'll talk about that in a second, becomes a major part of it. And the thing that suits best with that is high intensity conditioning.
And even for the strength, like for me, there was days when I was in and I couldn't move. I remember one day like having Shane down in the gym, and I was trying to press. I could never press 40 kilo. I used to just try it randomly during it. Like, maybe I can do it now. And I would try it, never move it. And I could move 39.5 kilo straight press up and down.
And just to clarify, what Liam's talking about is an overhead standing press.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, an old school type exercise you'll not see many people do, which is a major component of the stuff that we do. Not a bench press. So don't be thinking he couldn't bench press 40 kilograms. He's talking about an overhead press with 40 kilograms.
And at that stage, I was about 65 kilo at that stage.
Yeah, so it was about, that's what I was trying to explain to you. It was about 3/4 body weight, which 3/4 body weight overhead press is actually a good lift.
And I was very excited in Rocky 4. So.
Rocky 4.
And then whenever we did that sort of strength phase, we were just randomly trying it one day.
Yep.
And just 40 went up.
Pop.
And then, for me, the conditioning, I felt like it was the element that made that phase, like, I felt that's what I got the most out of in that phase. I felt it was the reason why my lifts and all got better. Obviously doing the lifts, if you thought about it, but for me personally, I was thinking, it's this 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That is it's what I think people are missing. When people come to me or you and they say,
yeah,
I've been trying this for ages and I can't do it.
Yep.
The component they're missing is conditioning, like crazy conditioning where your body just fires up.
People don't do it. You can see it. You go to any gym, you'll not see people doing it. You know, you don't look good doing it. Your slabbers will be flying out of you. You know, you'll look terrible. You can't breathe. It's not the sexy Instagram stuff. Where you watch the CrossFit dudes and all looking class with no shirts on, doing this. This is so easy and all. If it's easy, it's not the right thing.
It's not conditioning.
Yes, there's easy days. That's not the time to do the easy days. If I'm going to do a block of 10 minutes of the hardest possible work that I can actually do, it's a good test for yourself as well, that you know what you can do. It's you that eventually will have to say to yourself, you're the only one that can say I give 100% on that. Yeah. That's a big thing too.
And a lot, like I know from personal training years ago as well, that people would say, I'm doing as hard as I can.
Flat out. Flat
and I'm like,
out.
If you can talk, if you spoke to me after that 10 minutes conditioning, you're not getting a response. That, like, most of them are just lying on the floor. Yeah. Whereas most people are standing fully coherent, not out of breath, going, but I'm trying my hardest.
I don't know why I can't progress.
And you're like, because you're not trying. So if you don't try your hardest for yourself, like,
it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. So the central nervous system, that's what you talked about it through the phase. You kept telling me about it because at the end of that phase, you knew to change the phase because I was starting to feel fatigued.
Overly fatigued. So on a strength program, again, just think of it like this: endurance type work, marathon work, and stuff like that. You will be fatigued. You'll be tired because it's endurance. Strength work, you should try and be fresh. Mm-hmm. Ideally, to demonstrate your strength, you want to be fresh because it is your central nervous system it's coming from.
And most of the time I was going in and I was texting you saying,
you know, he was doing three exercises, 3 barbell exercises per day on the 3 days. 3 barbell exercises each day.
That's doing it the old school 5x5 way, not
the old original 5x5 program, not the what's now. People just say I'll do 5x5. They don't know what they're talking about. Yeah. So it was the original 5x5, which is great for size and strength.
For
that. So you were only doing three exercises.
Yeah.
And you were dead on. I think it was how long was it?
It would have been around 6-7 weeks or something.
6 or 7 weeks. And that's pretty standard for a block of training. You were very, very tired then.
I started to get...
Not muscular tiredness, just deeply ingrained. And that's the central nervous system saying, you know what, I've had enough of this.
There was I remember one day going in, because I texted you straight after it happened. I went in and I went to, I think it was the power clean, and I went to do 60 kilo warm up. And it went to my knees and fell back down, and then I thought to myself, oh, maybe I just didn't prep right, I'll set up. And then I went to do it again, it went to my knees. And I just texted Mark going, I can't move 60 kilos. What is happening?
So that's a good, that's where it'll happen, because the power clean is, for anybody who doesn't know, power clean is to pull a barbell off the ground and catch it on your shoulders. It's an accessory movement from Olympic lifting. So it's a speed movement. So again, if your central nervous system's fried from strength training for 6 weeks, that's going to be where it's going to show. You can grind a squat, you can grind a bench press to a certain extent, you can grind a deadlift. You can't grind a power clean. You have to pop. You have to snap it, and because obviously the central nervous system is just slightly overworked, then that's a good sign for me. Then that needs to change.
Something worth pointing out too is that when I was doing all my other training, I have loads of injuries from martial art training. I had tore my scapula, and anytime I did any of my own stuff, they all crap up because I went, in my eyes, I went too hard, too fast. Or, like we said in the last video, I overtrained consistently.
For years.
So doing this, like, I have had no issue with it at all. And it was terrible for ages. And remember my chest, I had an inflamed sternum thing. And some days I couldn't even just sit forward to get up. Remember us grappling, and then I had to get you to literally lift me off. Literally lift me off the floor.
Literally lift you.
So the fact that you did...
It's alliteration.
Literation. No? So since he was actually working the program out and it was designed and we communicated so much about it, about the fatigue and everything, I've never had any issue.
If your training's hurting you and injuring you, it's wrong.
Something not right.
Should actually make you more. That's what I'm taking from what Liam has said to me over the last 9 months. Is that he's more resilient. He's more resilient now.
Yeah, I definitely feel
it should be. If you're strength training, that's one of the things I think about. One of the brilliant things about progressive resistance barbell training in particular is it makes you very resilient.
Even in all areas, even when I'm teaching the Tai Chi or just demonstrating the old school stuff I would do, I feel stronger. But I'm a advocate for good posture. And I've always had pretty good posture, but now that I'm stronger, I feel my posture more than just trying to activate it. Like I feel like I'm standing better and everything in that way.
Because if you're using heavier weights than something like a squat, if your posture goes bad, you miss the squat, don't you?
Yeah.
You miss that lift. So that's where that's going to come from. Same in overhead press and standing barbell presses, deadlifts and stuff.
Is there anything you think would be, just we're going to round up here, is there anything you think is worth adding about doing the second phase?
Yeah, the main thing to push is this component of strength. So there might be somebody watching who's going, well, you know what, I'm not really interested in strength, or that seems like a different field for me. I would just point out to anybody, if you're a runner, if you're anything, if you're just a stay-at-home dad, the stronger you are, the better. Being strong is not going to be a bad thing ever.
It has crossed over to, like, sometimes I have clients and I'm with them for hours or I'm with all day, and I've always felt like awake and alert the whole time, but now that I'm stronger, I just feel stronger.
So a simple 6 to 8 week program for anybody. 6 to 8 weeks, no matter what you do, if you want to do something different afterwards, dead on. 6 to 8 weeks is not much to dedicate, and you could, as Liam has, really raise your strength levels up and everything.
My strength went, we'll talk more about it in the next phase, because it was the next phase where I really noticed because I was paying more attention, but like my strength was just escalating in everything.
Yeah, every session. Every session there was an increase, and that's what I'm looking for whenever I'm saying to you, well, how did today go? Well, I squatted this and this. Good, how did it feel? And as long as I see that's going up, then
so sometimes it would go up, like maybe the squat would go up by 1 or 2 kilos, which, like, we talked about this in the last one, no ego, so I didn't think I better jump. I'm at 62, I better just go to 65. I went to 63, and sometimes I would do more on one and then I would just maintain on the next because that was taxing. And it led into, I didn't try to do more on every single. Sometimes I managed it, but there was never eagerly trying to get all of this. So that was
and use good form.
Always good form. So that was the rule as well. That was my way of knowing if I was too fatigued. If my form was going, I would just stop lifting. And again, like that day that I did the power clean and I couldn't do it, I probably could have
muscled it,
forced that up in some
like a reverse curl.
But
that's not the point.
but that was bad. So I always say to my clients stuff that when I go to lift something, one of two things will happen. One, it will lift up nice and clean to where I need it, and two, I will feel safe. So I'll never feel up here. It'll not work, and I'll stop because I understand the movement. So that's our phase 2. We're going to do a video on phase 3 as well. So if you have any questions or want to know anything about what we're doing, please just send us a message, and I'll link the first video below this one as well. So thanks again for tuning in, and have an amazing day, whatever you get up to.
Cheers, thank you.